Wait, right now?
I don't know.
Penis.
Good
I can.
morning, good evening, and good night, my fellow compatriots. This is the
Ooh,
Astro Bros, and we have come to tell you all of those things that we have to say.
oh, good intro,
He said
sir. Thank you.
he said come.
He did. Yeah, I couldn't help
I
myself.
noticed right
Yeah,
away.
he came. I came.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
Bros come.
and we're
Mm.
immediately demonetized before we were ever
Oh.
monetized.
I'll just do subtitles and I'll COME so they don't know.
This is
We can.
this is not for children.
Mm-mm,
None of this is intended for children,
mm-mm.
even though we all have inner children that maybe need that kind of attention.
Oh, speak for yourself. I'm an old man inside.
I only speak for myself.
Oh, that's true.
Do you
God
think
damn it.
any inner children just like really need beatings though? Do you think that that's like?
At this age, yeah.
Do you think for some people that's probably the next step? You know,
Yeah.
Let me put it this way.
in my opinion.
If you're at this point in your life where they need beatings instead of love, they probably need some other more extreme form of violence. But I don't know. I'd have to think that out more.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. What are we talking about here?
Well, I'm just saying if violence is warranted, then violence is warranted.
Flaying? Are we
I'm
getting
just
to
saying, like if you're
flying?
talking about like an extreme evil situation
Cleansing?
where the only way that you can stop it is by stopping it, then the only way you
Yeah.
can stop it is by stopping it.
Waterboarding. I
So
waterboard myself.
so that question's a little bit hard. I'd have to think it through, but that's my immediate answer.
You know
Your
what else is
immediate
hard
answer.
that I never have to think through?
Your your
Math,
your
because I just don't do
your
math
cock. Oh.
anymore.
Oh yeah, that too, yeah.
Yeah, because math is hard.
Math,
Uh,
savior of every one of us.
woo.
uh,
Yeah, I like my math.
you can do it, though. It's fine. I'm willing
Yeah.
to cede math.
Fuck it. Two plus
I
two
don't need
is
to know it.
5. Yeah. You don't need to know it.
No, I'm not ceding all math. I'm not saying all math is worthless. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't do a lot of math in my everyday life.
Yeah.
Oh, I
So
do.
that's
Do
why I
you?
gamble, sometimes because I'm not good at math.
Never tell me the
And that's
odds.
why you do
Yeah.
astrology, because you don't like actual real facts
Oh,
and figures and things that add up.
Yes, you got me.
try. Oh, you are. Oh,
Low hanging fruit. Sorry.
yeah.
I saw an
Oh,
opening. I saw an
yeah.
opening. I didn't hit very hard. I could have hit harder.
I could have hit harder. Okay.
Yeah.
I just know that the battle is open. That's fair
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, and I'm
Yeah.
excited for the rest of the show.
I'm just
I'm kidding, man. Jeez.
well, that's how,
I'm not.
that's
Yeah,
part
that
of the
was
whole
great.
dynamic.
Offended.
You guys know astrology. I don't, and it a
Yeah,
lot
you
of it
dummy.
just sounds. A lot of it just yeah.
You're worried
God.
that
Well, there's
astrology
some.
may be fake and is potentially gay. That is what you're trying to tell me?
What I'm
Are
trying
you
to say
saying
is a
it's
lot of people are
potentially
full
fake
of
and gay?
shit, and they only have one cup, and I don't like it. They should just not do that thing. So it's
How
like if
many?
they have something good to say and they have something like actually insightful, like you guys do, and a couple other people I know, that's cool. But then there's a lot of other people who are just being like, oh, what was the meme where it was just like, it's like, oh, I love how you just put in my ex's sign is, and then you start to list all of the symptoms of BPD.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
BPD. Isn't BPD
Borderline
two
person,
things though? It's like
or
borderline personality disorder, and isn't it bipolar disorder too? So do you never really know which BPD it is?
I
I
think
mean,
it's borderline. That's the main. I don't know. Bipolar
B,
is just
BPD is borderline, and then bipolar is bipolar, which I believe is.
in here.
I mean, oh no,
I don't know. I don't have those books that the girls with the grippy socks know about. So I think it's the DSIV4 or something. It's some
So close.
DSI 12.6. No, it's what is it?
It's the DSM.
DSM, the Dungeon Master's Guide to Mental
that's-
Illness.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's like the same issues with that, or the same issues with a lot of our other medical science. It's compartmentalized. It's not integrated into all of the other health modalities. And then also it's always behind the curve. And it basically is like, it's like textbooks. It's who pays to put their information in the textbook so that they can have their thing considered normal so that they can sell their product. You know, so we have a very
Yeah.
corrupt system, even in the education side of things on this.
Yeah. Look
Yes,
up
that's
gender
true.
dysphoria. Yeah, that got dropped real quick. It used to be in the DSM-4, then DSM-5. They're like, no, how dare you? Gender euphoria or gender dysphoria is not gender euphoria. That's even better. Let's go with that.
Bipolar is known as BD
I said
rather
it's only
than
like a
BPD.
DSM-6 now too. I
Yeah.
think.
What?
So bipolar is known as BD, or yeah, rather than BPD.
So because their
Ah,
eyes are often beady.
they do have beady eyes.
That's what their terminology is.
No, I bet it just stands for bipolar disorder, not beady.
Yeah, well, bipolar
the word.
disorder. Yeah, so it's because bipolar is one word. It's a hyphenated
So,
word.
It feels like, I'm not sure if
Like
this
the
is
best
true,
words.
but it feels like more people are being diagnosed with shit like every year. Yeah. Like there's
yeah.
more and more people on like heavy like anti-anxiety or antidepressant or
Yeah.
that seems like, what's that about, do you think? Do you think that's like the Neptune and Pisces us thinking that we're going to be able to solve our spiritual problems just by getting a pill? I don't get it.
Yes.
I
No,
think it's
yeah.
mostly I think it's mostly our food system. Our food system makes unhealthy bodies, and then unhealthy bodies make unhealthy minds.
Well,
Because if you,
but
you
also,
can't regulate your thoughts and emotions, if you can't regulate other things in your body.
yeah, but also it's easy money. You just throw pills at people. They're cheap. Fucking throw pills at people. You get them on. I mean, I'm not trying to be all
Send
like
it
that,
on
but
it.
fucking big pharma. It's easy money. They don't have to do anything. They throw pills that they've already, fucking can make for like 10 cents each. And,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck like about the negative consequences of throwing pills at people. And I mean, what?
Nothing.
Amber wants to say something. Amber's right here. She wants to be off camera, but she'll,
Can she hear us? Or-
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can.
Okay, I just know
Can
that
they
you
not
have
hear
things in
me?
your ears.
yeah, I have one and she has the other. And Amber, say
Oh,
hi.
okay.
Hi.
There you go.
Hello, Amber.
Hello, Amber.
Then can he hear me?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
voice is the
Hi.
machine.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyways, she'll hang out for a bit.
Okay.
She's one of the bros. She's got a bigger
I mean,
dick than all of us, so it's good.
She's
I've
allowed to
heard-
be on camera. She can you can come out from behind the nothingness.
I'm just
and
doing
come
the Scorpio
into
ascendant thing
existence.
right now, just being dark and mysterious and shit like that.
Yeah,
You
but
can only
also
come on
dark and
camera if you're wearing the veil.
mysterious forever. And
The
you
veil?
know,
What veil? What
The
veil?
veil. The veil.
The
You know
veil
about
of
the
the
veil?
blood?
The veil.
Like
The veil. Like the veil.
The
the
veil.
veil.
The veil. Just do
The-
this.
no, like
Is it
veil?
the spiritual veil. Right now, you are non-corporeal. You are non-visible. So therefore, you are just a disembodied spirit that we have.
Oh, look, my hand.
Oh, wow.
See, yeah.
It's
No,
it's
she's
embodied.
not actually
It's
real.
alive.
She's not, yeah.
It's alive.
She's not actually
I'm
real.
just a hand.
Anyways, yes.
Okay, just
So,
checking.
but just pretend like she's not here. She's one of the bros. That's good.
I'm not
Okay,
I don't even have
like men have
defense.
done for centuries.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
We usually wandered off into the woods to do this.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's one of the reasons.
away from-
And they didn't always follow us. And then the ones
Yeah.
that followed us were like the bros, Like,
Yeah,
they were like,
exactly.
Okay. She can come along.
Aw.
She's like a bro, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I am an Aries man.
Yeah. She's an Aries moon, so
Yeah, I bet Aries placements were the ones that were more likely to go out on the hunt because they were sick of the circle talking at the fucking. I could see
Oh, yeah.
that. I
The
bet
gossip.
Aries were-
Oh yeah.
And then Cancer men were like, I'd rather kind of be around the fire, you know.
Oh, I love this. I can just hang out and chat with the ladies. Yeah.
Chat with the ladies is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, welcome,
So what
Amber.
were we gonna
Well, thank
teach
you.
Troy tonight?
Yes. What are we going to teach,
Yeah.
Troy?
That
I
astrology
have to,
is
like-
real.
Astrology is in your heart. It lives in your heart, Troy. And you just have to open your heart to astrology, Troy. It's not a big deal.
mean,
Just open your heart, Troy. Just open
so
your heart.
So does One Piece. So
Oh. So does two-piece chicken with the biscuit.
So does
Not as much.
three-piece suit on an agent, I guess. I don't know. Is there a four-piece something?
We're just oh, Troy's mad. We're making fun of his show. He's mad.
oh
what are we
well, I
making
mean
fun of?
it's all right.
happened?
One
I've
Piece?
made fun of your religion, so
Oh. Astrology is a religion. God damn it.
oh
dare you.
burn from an Aries. The fire.
Yeah, get on board. Get indoctrinated, motherfucker. Let's get it. Let's proselytize this fucker into the religion of astrology.
Pour me out some Kool-Aid.
Yep.
Okay.
So astrology, best way to look at the world. Best framework. It's a clock.
The astrology.
Yep. It's the
assholeology. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways that it can be used.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, Troy, that people have been like talking about this shit for literally 10,000 years, right? So 10,000 years of people so probably people in Babylon were like, why are cancers such pussies? They probably wrote it up on the wall, you know?
No.
I bet it happened. I bet that people were making fun of each other by their star sign all the way back
yes.
in the days of Babylon.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
we can hear
this
you,
is-
Amber.
Long tradition, Troy, that
Yeah, Troy.
has
Pay
been
attention,
passed
Troy.
down
Yeah.
one person to another just over the centuries, and it's been fought against by the church at times. You know, there's been lots of problems associated with it, but Troy, we're in a renaissance, Troy. It's time to join with us, Troy. Join with
Troy.
us. One of us.
One of us.
One of us.
Yeah, Troy.
Troy.
Oh, we scared him off.
Did he leave?
Continue, I'm listening.
Yeah, it's astrology is it's the best religion, Troy. You gotta join us. It's all encompassing. It it's spoken about in other religions as well. And the misconception that it's that Christianity hates it is just a modern thing because it's in the fucking Old Testament like crazy.
Where the fuck did he go?
Troy, where the fuck did you go? He's smoking, isn't he?
He wants-
I knew it. I knew it. What are you doing?
He wants
Troy?
to bang one out, but doesn't want to be seen.
So
You're about to rage quit?
always.
I love a
Always.
rage quit. It's one of my favorite things to see. I've been seeing it a lot lately. So rage quits are interesting and fun to watch. And
It's called not communicating your boundaries, but enforcing them. You know what? I'm leaving. What just happened? It's like
they communicated their boundaries.
they didn't communicate their boundaries. They just enforced them. It's like
They did enforce them.
Not
yes.
the Irish goodbye.
Which communicates them, I'd say.
well,
right?
but that's also kind of just being like you come up and you say something to somebody and he just punches you right in the face. There's no warning. It's just fuck you.
Oh yeah. Who are
You
you
know?
talking about, Troy?
Oh no, I'm talking about. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't mention names of people in the group, right?
Talking about God.
Oh,
Punching
I know who
people's
you're
face.
talking about. I know who you're talking about. Never mind. Okay.
No, I'm not-
It's a guy. It's a
Well,
guy.
to be honest, is I could be talking about other people, but I think the rest of them blocked me. I don't see them anymore.
Hey, be
It's
proud
like
of
I get
that.
in one tiny little squibble with somebody. I don't even fucking know who these people are. I call them out on one thing, and then it's just like
Oh
And
yeah.
then all of a
Welcome
sudden I
to
start
my
seeing
life. I think like
names
at
I
least a
can't
quarter of
click
the
on.
group has me blocked.
Oh yeah. No, uh, a certain person who has strong opinions that are retarded. I know who you're talking about.
Me? Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm
Her name's
joking.
Amber. Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
why
can't.
I'm
I
That-
can't.
saying
that
it
is
in
pretty
code,
true.
Amber. You weren't supposed to catch on.
I'm not dying on that hill.
I'll die on that hill and then I'll be resurrected like Jesus. Yeah.
Oh.
Good old Jeebus. I like that
Jeebus.
guy.
Hey, Jesus. You know, Jays did not exist back
Jesus
then.
Christo.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They didn't have Jay
Rest in
back
peace,
then,
man.
so
Huh.
and then he was Jesus.
Jesus. Huh.
It was with a Y
So,
though, yeah. Or Yod.
I mean, it'd be really weird if you know the second coming was actually yay. I don't think it is, but it would be a really weird situation.
That would be wild, yeah.
He's
Well, I
selling
mean,
sneakers. I
if,
just
if
don't
that
get
was
it.
ca-
But
if that was the case, then Donald Trump would be the Antichrist.
No, no.
And then together
Nailed
they would
it.
bring peace to the world.
Yeah,
So-
no, you actually are correct. The Antichrist was supposed to have something happen to his head, and Trump got shot in the ear. Like if you read your fucking Bible, that actually is a thing. Like you're like, oh,
Yeah, I know. I've listened. Well, it's funny because I heard a lot of people talking about this shit. Uh, several months ago, it was hot in the
was hot.
alternative media sphere. It was trending.
it was
But,
trending.
That's hot.
but there's
That's
like
so
certain
hot.
groups that have been specifically engineering certain elements of the apocalypse. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, hey, I see that I want this certain outcome to happen, and it's kind of goes into the same thing with astrology, where it's like, oh, here's a prophecy, certain things are supposed to happen, and I see that they're supposed to happen, so I'm gonna kind of make them happen because I want them to happen and lean into it, but they try to like recreate. It's like recreating the recipe or trying to align with whatever energy or whatever you want to say, but that's
Aligning with the energy is fine, though, isn't it?
yeah, but I'm talking to more people than just you.
Oh, how dare you? It's a
I love
chicken
you,
egg
Mike.
situation. It's a chicken egg. It's one. How do you know one doesn't cause the other? You know, like how do you know that people are trying to align with the thing? How do you know that the thing is not just causing them to align with it? Like, what if the energy is already happening in the background and it's pushing them to do the thing? How do you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it could be one or the other. Could be that they're trying to like make something happen with certain astrological alignments, or those astrological alignments are causing people to do things. Huh?
No, I hear that, but
And
it's the
then
Yeah.
same
if you
thing you
just
could say
align
about
your,
prophecies. So
Yeah.
I love that 4chan prophecy. I forget what it all is, but it's like when the weather cools, and then there's all these other lines about like uh something strikes like from the from the heavens but does not kill, a lightning bolt from the heavens but does not kill, and it's all these cool little prophetic lines. And 4chan has been like spending the last 4 years thinking that everything relates to this prophecy that 4chan came up with.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it's my favorite part of 4chan is every time something happens, people are like the prophecy, you
Oh,
know.
fuck yeah.
Astrology doesn't really have prophecy though. It more just has like likelihoods and passive development, I'd say, more than
Yeah.
prophecy.
Yeah. People use it for prophecy, but it doesn't mean that it's like astrology. It's just people will use anything for prophecy. But like, I mean, you can't fucking predict the future to a T. That's like, I mean, most good astrologers know that because it's like, but we can get like it's like the weather. You know that next spring, it's gonna get warmer, the plants are gonna grow, like basic fundamental things. So like you can predict on some level, but you can't predict like, oh, the plants are this flower is gonna bloom on this exact day. It's like, okay, it'll bloom around this time, but it's that kind of idea. I mean, it's a very general, simple way of looking at it, but
Fuck, what's that?
yeah,
but
I understand the concept of it, but it's just then people being like, oh yeah, this is true and that's not true, and all the little specifics of it, and then A lot of people just like
Well, that's
every
like
other system,
Marxists,
they
you know?
use it as well, they use it as a projection tools, you
Yes.
know, or obfuscation tools. Just like anything else, you know.
Just like anything else, though, you nailed it. It's not the thing, it's the person. It's some people use it for bullshit. But if it wasn't astrology, it'd be something else. So
Yeah.
Generally so. I mean, I mean, it's like we can use anything as an outlet or whatever. It's just our relationship to the thing. I mean, certain things are inherently going to have more certain types of relationships to them, you know, than other things, depending upon the nature of the thing
yeah.
or the idea, you know.
Yeah. Well, astrology is God, so
Mm-hmm.
It's
yes.
at least the pattern, you know? It's a sensible pattern that helps you to understand things like easier than you otherwise would
That's gonna be my
be able
DJ
to.
name.
Who
Yep.
might be drinking?
Yeah,
Am I
what?
already asleep?
What?
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 Speak up, Amber.
Huh. I don't think I'm
Amber's
dreaming.
Amber's yeah, you're dreaming. You're just dreaming. You're hearing things.
Okay. Hearing things.
There's no one here with me.
Honestly, here's the truth though for me. I don't really need Troy to believe in astrology, you know? Like neither do you. It's fun if like hopefully by the end of this maybe you get something out of it. But the way that I look at it is just something that is kind of a part of my everyday life, you know? And for better or worse, that's happened over the course of time interacting with it. And if you kind of stay around it, you'll probably just kind of start picking it up naturally, I would say. But yeah, if you decide that it's a bunch of horseshit, that doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't think
hurts
it
mine.
hurts it. Well,
Hey,
yeah.
there's
I
nothing wrong
mean,
with horse shit. It makes great compost.
I'm so
it's
hurt.
true. I like horseshit.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not that I don't believe in astrology. It's just I don't understand it's astrology. I'm just being sassy about it.
Do you understand?
Oh,
You understand like
If you're gonna
Sorry.
say something, say something. If
Yes,
you're gonna,
that's
if you
all
wanna
I'm
be, if you want to
I'm
be
trying to
on,
tell
be
her that.
on.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Speak
like
up, Amber.
we don't
I
need
thought
a
that they
cat
could
that's
hear me.
halfway inside the door, halfway outside the door.
Yeah.
I'm literally right here.
You're a cat halfway outside the door.
You're literally could be anywhere. I have no idea where the fuck you are.
I'm right here.
We saw a
Yeah.
hand, so I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
But now you're gone again. I do not have object permanence. This is a podcast. This is content. I don't have an attention span unless you're there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Anyways, well, speaking to the mic, there it is. Hello. There you go.
Hey, yo.
She's a. Anyways, Amber, what got you into astrology?
Just wanting to understand myself better.
Oh,
I mean, which makes sense when you look at all of the bullshit going on in my chart. It's like being overrun by malefic after malefic after malefic. I mean, there's the Scorpio ascendant, but
What does
you know,
that
there's
word
also
mean?
like Pluto everywhere in my fucking chart. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Malefic. You've never seen Maleficent with what's her face? A malefic means bad. Benefic means good.
Yeah.
So a malefic is like a bad or like a quote unquote hard or bad.
You're saying a mal effect?
No.
Close enough.
Pretty much.
Close-
But
Close
Yeah,
enough.
pretty much.
Okay.
It's the fish brain. He can't help it.
Yeah.
I mean, just be
Say
be nice
like
to
that.
my baby. I have a little baby.
Oh,
Set the little
You have a little
astrology
baby? I don't
objects in
understand
my
what is
baby
happening.
hands very gently, so I can build up the strength in my astrology baby hands.
oh.
okay. Yeah, we're gonna help. I've been taking notes, and the only note that I've taken so far,
That's not even
besides
safe.
drawing, just says
Malefic.
sassy. That's all. That's the only note that I've taken.
Sassy.
Lot of drawings. The word sassy. That's my note.
Sassy. Sassy. Those are good notes.
And
Yep.
basically, I'm just here because Aries moon is supposed to teach Aries sun how to be more Aries, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first
Yep.
thing Troy needs to know about Aries placements are Aries are Satan's most retarded children.
There we go.
That's like the main lesson you need to know.
Yeah.
His
Like
least
Aries moons
helpful
are his number
helpers.
one, most retarded children.
Yeah. The least. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
I mean,
So,
that's
yeah.
pretty
We are
bold.
here.
You
We are
haven't heard
your
me say
least
anything about
helpful
my dad.
children.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't hear what you said, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, I said, here we are. We are Satan's least helpful children. I think that's what I said.
Okay.
Most retarded children.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Whereas Aquarius is like the most helpful child, please.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the teachers loved Aquarius.
Oh yeah.
They did.
They love it.
Charmers.
They love that the contrarian bullshit and the kid who thinks that they're cooler than they are. Yeah. Teachers love
Oh,
that
teachers
shit.
did love that, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I guess teachers wouldn't love Aquarius then as much.
No. No.
They do love
Yeah.
Libra though, as is tradition.
Aw, good little Libra.
Yep.
Sweet little Libra.
I had a love-hate relationship with teachers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I
Did
was
you
a
make
good
love to any
student, but
teachers?
Some of them just hated me. I'm just going to
Hmm.
skip over that comment.
I
Wait.
literally had teachers who would write me up because, in their own words, verbatim, they were trying to get me out of their class.
Oh.
I was your stereotypical teenage Aries moon, basically.
Oh.
I was terrible.
Translate.
Don't translate.
I was a menace.
She's a menace. She was a menace in class. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay, this is gonna work. Okay, good.
Thank
She
you.
was
Okay.
snatching.
Yeah.
She was snatching weaves. That's like the level,
Yeah. I'm just
The
saying,
level of
you're talking
malevolence.
in code that I don't understand, so
Yeah,
you have to use normal English, like English that people use in the world.
I was in trouble a lot because I gave zero fucks. Like,
Were you fighting with teachers? Were you like biting
teachers,
people?
students. I mean, I once called the principal a
Physically?
bitch to her face. Like,
Okay. Well, why?
Yes.
Like, what was
why?
your-
Because
what's
she
your
was
motivation?
being a bitch.
No, obviously. But but I'm not saying, I'm trying to wonder, like, did you just like, why were you so angry at everything?
That's a good question.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we don't have, I don't think, time to open that box.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. That particular can of worms.
Well,
Excuse
I
me.
mean, just give me an
Would you
appetizer.
please
You don't have to, like,
empty out your
don't ask you
baggage
to
in front of
cook
us
it.
to
Just, like,
see, please?
I'm just you have to understand, this is my language. So the thing is that you're trying to say that so when you're trying to articulate something about yourself in an astrology term, I need to understand it as far as like a psychology or pathology. Like, what are the thoughts? What are your emotions? What's motivating you into that? Because that's what I found is the most overlap of how I understand how different signs are.
Okay, well, for example, Aries being a very rebellious sign, which Aries archetype energy is, I think being a teenager, having that Aries moon, teenagers are also going through a transit where they have transit Saturn opposite their natal Saturn, which is obviously a time of growth and growing up and at least trying to learn how to become an adult, which is, why as teenagers, we often see a lot of pushback with kids around that age group towards authority figures in general. And the Aries archetype energy, especially with the moon, tends to have an issue with authority figures in general. And it's very much a very headstrong attitude of how we will do what we want to do and fuck what anyone else says. In fact, the more that I guess an authority figure tries to control us or deter us from doing something that we shouldn't do, the more that we want to do it, basically. I mean, Aries moons are shitheads, especially as teenagers.
Oh, my little shithead.
So
Aww.
so with
My
you
little
personally,
shithead.
is it more about independence or defiance?
Ooh.
Well, I would
Good
say
question.
it's probably a combination of both because Aries is a very independent sign that wants autonomy ultimately above pretty much all else. Aries wants autonomy, and you probably relate to that as well. At least some of that probably resonates with you.
For sure.
But of course, you know, when we are fighting to have that independence and that autonomy, it can look like defiance, especially to say an older person like an adult who is supposed to be an authority figure over us, who is trying to guide us in the quote unquote right direction. Of course, the more obviously, the more that they try to control us, the more pushback that they will get.
Yeah. If you battle in Aries, they're just gonna battle back. Some people will succumb and fucking whatever, take it or go a different route. But Aries archetype, you push, they push back. It's like Aries, like we've talked about this, me and Amber, but like Aries and Aquarius are similar in a weird way where like we're both just like be like, don't fuck with us. But one is takes it a different route than the other. And Aries is more obvious about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. It's just, well, a lot of like the psychology of it is how you learn to problem solve. Like, and a lot of that
Yeah.
comes down to where your strengths and your weaknesses are. And that's going to be physically speaking, but also astrologically speaking, where your strengths and your weaknesses and your signs. So like some people are going to be more clever or smarter or stronger or whatever. So like when you get to that place where you're like, hey, I need to use my force, or I should say like I'm gonna just push it and make stuff happen, my effort, you know. It's like, where do I have my abilities? It's like, you know, and depending on your strengths and your weaknesses are gonna determine, oh, here's how I look if I'm acting out of a place of fear and taking advantage of people and using my lesser nature, because these are my strengths and my weaknesses. But if I've overcome my weaknesses and turned them into strengths, and I'm doing things out of love, this is what I look at like, you know? And when I listen to and understand the different aspects of astrology, that's like kind of what it comes back down to, is like the love and the fear, or, you know, version of each sign in that placement.
Yeah.
So that's why I ask the questions of motivation, because that helps understand that, okay, when I feel trapped, what is my limitations? Because we have priorities, because at each place, things in our life are going to teach us that, like, okay, this is more important than this, and this is more important than this. And that's usually because the pain that we've experienced in our life helps us develop those priorities. So when those priorities come into conflict, you know, it's going to, or we hit certain priority levels, that's going to make it so that we're going to loosen some of our principles of how we interact with the world. You know what I'm saying? And so
Oh, yeah.
it's what level of emergency are you releasing certain priority levels, and certain things also kind of determines who you are psychologically. But it also, you know, you guys explain it, a lot of that comes back from part of our predisposition is astrologically determined, you know, somewhat in our natal chart, you know,
Yeah.
as in our strengths and our weaknesses, you know.
Yes.
And that, you know, as you could say, that plus our genetics and our environment and our culture help, you know, shape us
Are all layers.
into, yep. And well, and then they feed back into each other, because the same way that it's like our genes get turned on by if we're in a cold environment or a hot environment, or we get injured or we get active, you know, certain genes turn on in the same way, it seems like astrologically or psychologically,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
So
You're
as you
getting it.
start
You're
to, yeah. But anyway, just after my rant, but part of it is like also explaining to Amber, that's like why I find it so important when I'm asking these questions, because part of it's getting to know you personally, but also understanding the archetype of when you make a statement. You know, I know the context of what you're saying, you know, because, you know, people are like, you know, just like my my 8th house Scorpio just acting again, and I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You know?
Yeah.
No, I mean that completely makes sense because I mean, if you just throw terms out there like that, then they sound a bit meaningless without context. But no, ultimately every sign has an archetype of its energy, and obviously that all stems from somewhere, like you were saying, when it gets activated by genetics. And of course, I would also say transits that each person goes through, like throughout their lifetime, obviously. There are certain things that each person experiences at like within a certain age demographic. For example, like I gave the example of Saturn opposite Saturn, which is a growth period of learning to become an adult later in life, often what we refer to as the quote unquote midlife crisis. People have outer planets such as, say, Neptune and Pluto, for example, in transit that are squaring their natal Neptune and Pluto.
Nice. And Uranus opposition, right?
Yeah,
that
the
too.
Uranus
Oh, yeah.
half return at 42 about,
Yeah.
which is
All that-
known as that too, for sure.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
your second Saturn return down the road too, which is kind of crazy, like at 58 or whatever, or
Yeah.
57.
Yeah. And yeah, if you don't get the lessons of your first Saturn return, the second one's really gonna fuck you in the ass. Yeah.
Am I the only person who enjoyed my Saturn return?
Did you enjoy your Saturn
I didn't
return?
have
I mean-
too bad of a time during it, actually. Mine
Exactly.
was okay.
See?
I don't know.
See?
From my experience of Saturn return is that like it's a big like accelerator and it kind of kicks you into gear in a lot of ways. And like for
Yep.
me, I was out of alignment, so it just like spun me all the fuck around. Like it ended up putting me more back on course, but it was still just like ripped me out of the fucking wrong course I was on.
You just
You know?
described a
Yeah.
Saturn return perfectly.
Yeah.
That's that
Yeah.
is exactly what it's supposed to do. Yeah.
So I mean,
It makes
but,
you give up stuff to a certain
but like
extent.
if you're pointed in the right direction, it's like, you know, hitting one of those like little accelerator ramps on Mario Kart where you're just like boo boo boo.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, no, exactly. And it'll push you and you'll just be right on track. Like it's a test to be like, are you on track or not in your own life? Like everyone has their own track that they're on. And like if you're fucking just all over the place or you're just way off of track and you're just like not taking responsibility for your shit, you're gonna crash into the wall. But if you're doing those things, you're gonna fucking get the accelerator ramp, like you're saying, and fucking it'll push you forward and you just run with it. And it can be very positive too. It gets a bad rap because I think a lot of people don't want to take responsibility for themselves. So of course they experience the negatives of shit, and then like, yeah, it's gonna be like, oh, Saturn returns are horrible and that's so bad. But it's like, yeah, well, it's gonna be bad for people who don't want to fucking grow up, basically. Because growing up is just like, yeah, I'm responsible for myself. It's not anyone else's problem. Like, you know, ultimately, the shit in my life is my responsibility. Either I can blame or externalize it or suck it up and, you know, take responsibility and then make changes. And then as you do that, Saturn opens doors for you because, like, Saturn wants you to, you know, all the planets want you to do your thing. They're not all, there's no planet that's like, I'm just gonna fuck you and, you know, and sit back and laugh. Every planet's like,
Uranus.
oh, okay.
Uranus is there to
Even-
shit on you.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. That was
Easy joke. Easy
Yeah, yeah. Low hanging fruit. Yeah, yeah. No, it was good though. But yeah, exactly. Even Uranus will, you know, shit on you, but then give you opportunities and
Pluto is
change.
sometimes there to fuck you. It's sometimes for a higher purpose, but sometimes Pluto is there just to fuck you.
Oh,
To
Yeah.
hopefully
Aw.
learn from it, but I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't always leave you. Sometimes it leaves you like amputated or like in a much worse spot after
Yeah.
you go
Really, that
through it.
depends on the transformation.
So I would say
Yeah.
that. What? What did you say about transformation?
Oh, no, I was saying that really depends, I think, on the transformation too. I mean, obviously, well, I mean, you and I, we both have all the Scorpio, Pluto bullshit. But you know, I was, you know, thinking obviously we go through multiple transformations basically, and it's like some of them will leave you amputated, but then say, for example, the next one will be, I don't know, a bit better. Well, maybe not better, but
Yep.
not quite so debilitating. That
Yeah.
might be where we learn a more valuable lesson that we can apply, I guess.
Yeah, okay, but let me jump in because what if you needed to, like you were saying, you needed your fucking leg amputated? Like, what if
Sometimes that is
you're
necessary.
so you needed like I feel like, and this is like a more of a like a spiritual belief that I have, but like I think that the shit that happens to you in your life, it's you're given what you need to get, and that sounds shitty because it's like blame the victim bullshit, but like if you're so entrenched in wrong beliefs, then shit's gonna be harder when you have to transform because to pull you out of that, if you're deep in a fucking hole and that
Yeah.
hole is wrong for you, it's going to be harder to pull you out. So you need a more dramatic experience to pull you out.
True.
And sometimes that could be like,
Suffering. Yeah.
like, and that suffering, the levels depending, like, I mean, so like, yeah, like it might seem like it's just fucking with you. It might be bad, but like, maybe that's what you need, even if it sounds like shitty because it's like saying, oh, well, you needed to have your leg fucking fall off and then have to whatever. But like, maybe that is what you needed to really fucking wake you up because you're so entrenched down the wrong path. Like, and so
God
I
needs
just
to slow you down, son. You
yeah.
were going too
So-
fast.
Well, it's karma. It's as far as I see it. And like I think I've explained this before, but like you have the three main karma. You have the karma that you've accumulated in this lifetime. You have the karma later that you've personally accumulated from alternate lifetimes, parallel lifetimes that you've lived. Then you also have karma that you accumulate that is actually nothing to do with you, that you get genetically, culturally, societally, just from being in the place that you are, in the time that you are, in the body that you are, that you
Yeah.
didn't really have a choice in. So it's like you have all three of these karmas swirling around, and the thing is if you look at it as that we came here, that like these every karmic opportunity is a chance for us to expand our consciousness and be better and learn to be better, more loving, connected with the universe, God, all that stuff.
gay.
Uh,
No, just kidding.
So it's just so these are all opportunities. So it's like,
I know.
yeah, it's great. It's great to be like, oh yeah, this is my personal thing that I didn't learn the lesson right as a kid, but then there's
Yeah.
also stuff where it's like, oh, this is something that I didn't do in this lifetime, but this is something I'm accumulating from another lifetime. But then there's also stuff like with your country or your family or your
That big
race
Aries
or
thing.
these other things that we don't necessarily have control over that influence our lives, that we have to karmically deal with those debts and
Yeah.
such, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the
We
debts
pay
that
off
you
what
ain't.
we can. There's
Yeah.
plenty of time.
Oh yeah.
I sense that we have plenty of time to pay off our debts.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like generally the universe is probably giving you like the business like when you deserve it on some level. That's fair. It's very difficult to have people really agree with that because then a lot of the victim narratives kind of go away if you really take that part of what I think is reality to heart, if you
Yeah.
chose it. And a lot of people don't want to let go of like victim narratives at all, because it's fun.
Oh yeah.
And it
Because they
makes
can
them feel
control
like a weird
it's
sense of
better
power.
through
You
being
are
the
saying some
victim.
interesting shit. Yeah.
well, but
Um,
it's both sides of that extreme, of hyper individualism and hyper collectivism is where do your responsibilities for the things that happen in your life lie, and whose responsibility is it to fix them? Like both sides of that extreme have abused and is not right for people, so it's obviously like a combination of the two, of being like, oh well, I have to take care of my own body. Nobody else is going to tell me if I'm hurt or sick or whatever. That's my body and I'm going to feel it. But at the same time is that like, we do have collective responsibility to friends, family, and society, and right now we disagree on a lot of that, but
yeah. Okay. Can I jump in on that? Because
of
are you
course.
talking like it's other people's responsibility how we are in our karma? Because like I think ultimately our karma is our own. We have to take like the only thing we can control is ourselves. We can't fucking go around trying to control our environment and control other people to like influence ourselves. We have to ultimately just like it always comes back to us. The only power we have is over ourselves. And like I understand that like we can have positive influence over other people and like, you know, not add to their, you know, not add to shit and not add to karma in general. But like we can't push the responsibility that is our own onto other people. Like it doesn't mean that those people don't have an influence on us and haven't caused problems in our lives, but like maybe they're causing a problem in our life to force us to have a shift in how we either view things, or like it could mean like, you know, your karma might be that you need to learn to set really strong boundaries and cut someone out of your life, like someone who's just a bad influence on you. That could be your karma or whatever you want to call it. That could be your lesson. But like,
Exactly.
okay. So I just want, so that is that what you're saying? Because I just I
Yeah.
hate the idea of like being like, oh well, it's everyone else's fault
No, no,
or
no.
everyone else's responsibility but my own. Yeah.
Well, no, it's like the idea of healthcare, where it's just like it's your body, so you're the one who should be making sure that you're eating, sleeping, and whatever within your control. But also, like you can plant the seeds, you can do all this stuff, but you can't actually make the plants grow. You know, so there's always going to be certain things outside of your control and certain things inside of your control. And the thing is the one thing we've realized on this planet, at least the way we operate here, is that we work better communally, and biologically speaking, we work better in packs. And also spiritually speaking, we're here to do lessons. So it's like we're kind of all set up and kind of more or less designed and, you know, programmed to be connected. And um so it's kind of like when you look at personal responsibility,
There you go.
you know, versus collective responsibility, it's like, how do these things come in balance? And it's really that, like, well, it's, you know, a classic thing is like, it's my top priority is to make sure that I'm being taken care of, so that nobody else has to take care of me, is a great place to start, because then I have
Yeah.
more to give other people. But then from there, the my ability to contribute to other people and such like that, you know, ends up making a stronger whole. And so I think part of the how do I put it, the karma that we're experiencing collectively, or, you know, like in our culture, in our politics and all this other stuff, because all that's karma too in a certain way, you
Yeah.
know. And, you know, there's always good karmic opportunities there, but the thing is that, like, you know, part of it is that we want to actually work together and solve some stuff that's meaningful problems to us, you
Yeah.
know. And so sometimes, you know, we get metaphorically, you know, shit thrown in our face from, you know, spirit or whatever, just so that we can feel good when we clean it off, as if we achieve something, you know. But part of that is like, if you're looking spiritually, like, oh, we're ascended star seeds and whatever, and we're coming to Earth for the first time or whatever, you know, however you want to put it. But it still comes back down to that same thing, where it's just like, we came down here to learn basic ego lessons of how to communicate, know what our needs are, communicate what our needs are, enforce our boundaries, find people who want to help us meet our needs because they actually have no obligation to.
Yeah.
Nobody has
Yeah.
any obligation to help you on anything. And that's ultimately like where I'm agreeing with your point, like karmically speaking. But when we can actually work together, we can actually do a lot more, not just in the physical world, but karmically speaking, when we work together, we can learn to be much better versions of ourselves, which is what it's all about, you know?
No, I agree with that. Like, obviously, no man is an island. We all have to work together. Like, you can't just go about, but like, it's, yeah, if everyone took responsibility for their own shit and then moved on to like try to be a better person in the community, that would be like the ideal. Of course, the ideal is whatever, like, you know, we can wish all day long, but like, yeah, like, just sometimes people use, or just, they just will push, like I was saying earlier, they push out their responsibility onto others when it's like, and the thing that they want is the thing that they avoid, is like they want to like solve their own, they want to relieve those feelings or whatever, like not feel like a victim or all that stuff. And it's like you do that by not pushing things out to other people. You take fucking ownership of yourself and your own feelings, your own thoughts and your own actions, and like, and just how you feel. Like most people just, it's a feeling thing, because most people, their problems are about how they feel, because most people are just uncomfortable in the day-to-day feeling nature. And like, if they take responsibility for those things, like And what I mean by taking responsibility is just being like, how do my thoughts and my fucking what am I contributing to my own state of being on like a day-to-day basis? And like, how can I alter that, even if it takes time to learn that? You have the ability to like alter that, like, I guess it's just, I mean, yeah, you have the ability to alter that, like, in the moment to moment with like your thoughts, your feelings. So like someone's pissed off at someone else. Like, yeah, you can be pissed off. There's nothing wrong with that. You can say that they're being a piece of shit, but also go, okay, well, I'm not gonna let this fucking ruin my day, and then take responsibility. That's what I mean by taking responsibility. You're taking responsibility for the fact that like you can not feel like shit about something that someone else said to you, while also acknowledging that they were a piece of shit for saying that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just about like giving, like being like, oh, it's okay what they did, it's fine. It's like, no, they were a piece of shit. They said some fucked up stuff. Fuck them. But also, I'm not gonna like basically like maybe it's a power thing where it's like you're giving away your power by letting them like affect you that strongly, which is like maybe like a Scorpio type of thing or Pluto type of thing. But like, but at the same time, you can like pull that back in and be like, well, I'm gonna take ultimately control, which is like more Saturn, of myself and my feelings and my nature, and then not let them affect me. So it's like that balance, yeah. But yeah, you just see it all the fucking time, especially online. Maybe it's just how people are. It's our nature. We're very sensitive creatures.
See, this would be like the perfect time to make a tourist joke about how we just moo indefinitely
Yeah,
whenever we get pissed off about something.
just moo.
Oh,
The moves, not the
Let's just be
moves.
honest, cats kind of, there's some cat personalities that do that too.
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Some
it's like a
cat
fixed line thing in
personalities,
general.
like tigers and lions and
Well, I
lions,
mean,
at
I was
Leo.
mainly
lions
talking about house
and
cats,
lions.
but that
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
probably
That's what I was
has,
talking about too. Yeah.
but I mean that definitely could have some parallel to Lego, and I'm a
Lego!
Leo.
Lego. That's perfect,
Lego.
actually. Lego. I like that.
Lego will
I grew up
probably
playing with
sue you if you
Legos.
try to use
Lego
it,
my
but
Lego.
I think Troy understands astrology better than what he gives himself credit for.
Nice.
Well, I've been
I think
around
so.
people who like, so it's like some of the deep stuff I
Yeah.
understand, but when people are just being like, it's like, oh, my Aquarius moon, and my Venus sun are like, like striking me up again. And I'm just kind of like, it's like all the vague posting I see, and like, but it's the same thing that I see with I mean, it's the same thing with the political shit and a lot of terms, like that, the younger generations will make up terms because they don't have words to explain certain things that they're experiencing in reality. And
okay.
once you have that ability to communicate with other people, it's just, there's a lot of value in it,
Dude, that idea is busting. Yeah.
well, and it's just like I mean, I believe it's,
No
I'd have
cap.
to,
On
I
God.
believe there was some study where it's just like women know on average just like, twice as many words as the average man, something like that, just because they just,
I don't believe it.
Fuck you.
well, but like it's because women have been biologically programmed, for, and this is obviously we're talking generalities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How dare you?
They communicate more. They're just used to,
No.
like, their jobs are used to having long form communication, where men's jobs are shut up, be quiet, go now,
Didn't
watch
work.
out. It's like, hey, there's that tire's flat. Okay, turn off the engine. It's just like, it's like
Mhm.
short, loud, to the point, because shit's important, and it has to get done right the fuck now. It's like when I'm playing soccer, I don't have the ability to be like, hey, why don't you go run up the left? I'm going to cut it over here, and then I'm going to go up the middle, and then you can come back to me, It's like, go up here. You get a couple words before,
Yes.
So it's like,
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm listening. Focus.
yeah, it's all right. It's all
No, I'm
right.
listening. I'm listening.
Best episode ever.
He's actually getting ahead right now. It's exciting for him.
My head is right here.
It's good to get ahead in life.
Just that as a gift.
Uh,
Love
Um,
you.
anyhow, I
this
was
should be deep
thinking,
enough into you that YouTube shouldn't get us for that.
long time ago, Troy said
Only
something
trumpet
about
slurs.
healthcare,
Yes.
and I wrote something down because I realized that he was nowhere near the end of that, and then it was a couple more things. So this is coming from way in the past,
Mm.
and what I was thinking is like, it seems to me that liberals in America have a problem when it comes to healthcare.
One
The
problem.
main problem is we can't have universal health care and healthy at any size at the same time. If we want universal health care, we have to make it so it's not used as often, which means we'd have to be a healthier society, which means that there'd have to be a lot of push for people to like lose weight because a lot of diseases are based on how heavy people are, right? And that they become like more frequent users of healthcare. So
Yeah,
it's very interesting to me because it's like both these are leftist concepts, but they can't exist together in the real world.
I agree.
These ideals have no ability to exist together, and I think that's interesting. And I don't know if any of you have ever thought about any of that.
No.
All the time.
Well, I totally agree.
I mean, that is literally like my life right there.
Well,
I mean, Schultz may or may not know this. I mean, I have mentioned it before about, me losing like, I don't know, 80-ish pounds like within the last 3 years. And of
congratulations.
course,
Yes.
I have definitely seen, a lot of improvements in my health in that time. Like, for example, prior to losing that weight, I was diabetic, and now, I mean, my A1C levels are fine and normal, and like none of that shit going on, basically. And for me, the catalyst was, and of course, I'm extremely short, which you probably also know because I've mentioned it a million times. Um, and so for me, you know, additional weight, on me is obviously going to be different than say someone on Nick. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's tall, I'm short.
Yes.
Basically.
We're
But I
There's
mean,
more
for me, it basically
potential,
got to that point
energy.
that I had a stress fracture in my ankle, and this was like back in 2020. I had a stress fracture in my ankle, and it was mainly caused by all of the additional weight that I was carrying. And that was pretty much the catalyst when I, realized I need to get my shit together, and I needed to get that weight off of me because I did not want to be bound to a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And
For
obviously
real.
that's the direction I was
Yeah.
headed in had I not taken the course of action that I chose to take, which was to lose all of that weight.
yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much inertia around it too. It's hard to
Oh,
motivate yourself to do it, especially if the patterns in your family are difficult, around food. I know that the patterns in my family weren't always very healthy,
Oh yeah.
but I've been focusing recently on like day fasting and trying to just cut calories as much as I can to begin to lose more weight because I know that carrying it around isn't good. It doesn't set a good example for my kids, and yeah, it's a good thing to actually take care of and focus on. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
um,
And I mean, and I think, once you get to that point, whenever you lose however much weight you're wanting to lose, I mean, I think you will be surprised. For me, there are things that I did not notice 80 pounds ago that I only notice now, only because of how different they are. Like, for example, I did not notice how much I was struggling with things before,
mhm,
compared to how easy certain things are for me to do now, if that makes sense.
for sure.
Yep.
And it's really
Blind
only
spots are
when I
like
think
that.
about it, like in retrospect, that I really begin to notice those types of changes.
Yeah.
But part of it is psychology, is that you're going to tune out. You're only going to be able to process how much you can process, and if there's too much, you literally phase out certain things, and you normalize certain things for you so that you can psychologically handle your experience. You know, so it's very normal in that way. And I mean, for me, I totally agree with what you're saying. And then another thing is like, we can't fix our healthcare system if we don't fix the corruption, because dumping money into a system and centralizing it and having something that's powerful enough to, like, we can't have single payer. So we need a base level healthcare that works. That means that, certain people are not going to get all the care they need, and that's just where it's going to have to start. It's going to have to start, and we're going to have to recognize that's going to be imperfect, you know? And, but it's still going to be way better than like the shit we have now. So it's like if you need fucking base level antibiotics or,
Need to get stitches or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, like
Or get a
broken
break
bones,
set.
like all of that basic level shit that like people have that covered. We should be a wealthy enough nation that we're investing in that, because here's the key thing is, if like just fiscally speaking, like if everybody can actually afford healthcare, well then they're just going to spend that money on other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to help the economy more. If people are healthy and able to work, then we have a better workforce. Then we can actually build better companies here, you know? But it's like it's investing in people and investing in the economy ends up being the same thing when you do it strategically, but you can't do it when criminals are running everything. And
It's
then on
true.
top of that, it goes to with our food system, because it doesn't. It's like you basically like have to go out of your way right now to farmers markets to get food that's not poisoned. You know, and because that's
Yep.
really what we're like. All of the food is fucking poison. And they act like, oh yeah, it's like literally people come here from Europe and they put on 10-20 pounds, eat the exact same, they have the exact same diet, the exact same everything, but it's just with all the stupid fucking chemicals in our food, you know, it causes us to be just that much more unhealthy.
For real.
And yeah, so it's like, that's the and those have been like a big issue of mine for a long time. Basically ever. So forever since I've been aware of politics and aware of the world, but it's like if we have healthy bodies, we can actually like do things in world, and then we have autonomy over ourselves, but then we can think for ourselves. We have clear minds, and then we can actually do things for ourselves, and we're not dependent to work for large corporations or do
That's
whatever the
dangerous,
government
Troy.
tells us. No, I know. And the thing is like, oh, we might be able to actually grow our own food and actually like have an appreciation for, backyard produce and, good, healthy, delicious beverages.
Locally produced by the fine artisans of my community.
Yeah.
I like
So,
artisans. I like more localized, especially as things get easier to make. I feel like we're in the future, it's going to be a lot easier to do a lot of things, and it's not going to take as much labor. It's not going to take as much manpower. And it feels to a certain extent like the elite plan is just to kill off a lot of the extra weight,
I think that.
but
I
the
hope
key
that's
thing
not the case, but that's what it feels like to me.
it's
And I
just when
want
we have all that extra
Yeah,
time,
no,
we
I
just need to
agree.
invest it in things that matter,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. No, Pluto or Capricorn doesn't like what you're saying, but we'll just just eat the shit and just fucking give us money and fuck you and your
Well,
radical ideas, Trey.
no cap. So,
Ah,
No
such a
cap.
such a zoomer. No, you're right, Troy. I mean, what a concept. If you
say
just
it
eat
again.
fucking oh, you sound like someone else. Someone else loves to hear that. It's rare. It's rare. You don't get very much. I'm gonna say it one time. You get once.
I mean, I get it a lot.
Fuck off.
Guess I am.
Yeah.
I've been
Always.
waiting for Nick to give it to me for a long time. So the fact that he gave it to me once makes me very
This is
happy.
so sweet. I'm
just the head.
Very
to
nice of
witness
you.
this moment.
Yeah. Oh.
Proud
No,
of you
but
both for whatever weird shit you get up to. I don't know.
yeah,
I love the
I don't
filter
know
you're
what's being
running with
insinuated.
today.
I think it's gay sex. I think
it
it's gay
is. It
sex,
is.
but
It's that's the
It definitely is.
the implication.
Yeah.
The implication.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like fucking when you go to the grocery store, like I mean, this is just cliche at this point, but like food is just if you read the back of the fucking labels, it's like what happened to just like bread being flour, yeast, water, salt, like oil, like basic shit. Instead, it's got like
Yeah.
a million fucking preservatives and all that shit. And it's like that's just bread. I mean, you can apply that to anything, but like people eat garbage, and you know, I do. Everyone does. I'm not. I mean, I'm drinking a fucking Red Bull. I don't want to even read the side of the can right now because it's yeah, I don't want to read the side of the can. But yeah, it's like our bodies can handle it so much, but like it's the whole like our body is like the earth. I mean, this is fucking woo woo, but like our body's like the earth. Like the more fucking pollution we put into the earth, like yeah, the harder time it's gonna have to process that pollution. It can do so much, just like our bodies can process so much. But like
Yep.
the more we fucking put into it, the worse it gets, and yeah, the harder it does. And like yeah, we're gonna have health problems. And like yeah, going back to the point about the healthcare system, yeah, it's like it's every individual's responsibility to fucking take care of their own health so that we're less of a burden on, or just I mean, it's not even about being a burden because I feel like that it's too collectivism, but it's just like yeah, you ultimately can take responsibility for your health at first. And yeah, if you break your leg, you got to go get it fixed at the hospital. Like you can't magically wish that to be better, but like you can do things to like when what Amber was saying, like you know if you know lose weight, you can not have diabetes anymore. That's like a whole that's a fucking thing. Like that's a really good thing for your body. And like so there's that's again going back is to the idea of taking responsibility for the self up to a point. Obviously, like I was saying, if you break your leg, you have to rely on the hospital to fucking put a cast on your leg and put it in place and stuff. But like yeah, you have to take responsibility for yourself first. And so many people, I mean, our culture does not push that shit at all. It pushes the opposite. It pushes, you know, just don't take responsibility for yourself. It's all, you know, rely on everyone else, rely on the quote unquote system to take care of you. And that takes away a lot of individual autonomy. And I think that's very much Pluto and Capricorn, like, or era. And I think we're, you know, we're transitioning to that Pluto Aquarius era where it's like, you know, you can I think that will be a change in how people see health and not just health, but like how we are as people, like how we go about our just day to day, like basic shit. Because in my opinion, Aquarius is partially about like the internal narratives that we tell ourselves, the psychology that we have. Like you, you know, it's Aquarius is all about like, it's stupid, but it's like about the energy that we put into ourselves and also out into the world. And like that energy, I think more people will go with what you're talking about, Troy, and realize like that, yeah, you need to take more responsibility for yourself. You need to like look at the food you're eating. You need it's not just about food, but that's a great example. But like and also the shit that we digest in our brains, like the fucking if we're taking in like mental stimulus that is just fucking, you know, like whether it's like the news cycle that's just like garbage all the time. Like, you know, Amber
In my news app,
like
it's
she
always
has
like
a
the
news
worst
app on her
fucking
I
phone.
like you're
shit.
like garbage, like Amber.
No,
No, it really,
Wow.
I have this
Got it.
news app on my phone. It's like the most depressing news, like from all over the world. It's like the worst shit imaginable. And like, but I guess it's like the Scorpio Pluto shit in me that like just needs to know all of this. I don't know. But I mean, I read these news stories and they are depressing. They are depressing as fuck. And they are usually about things like child abuse or, you know, basically
Don't do
bullshit
that.
like that. Like, yeah, it's like the
Murders.
worst shit,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And it's like, it's awful to read, but at the same time, a part of me feels like I need to be aware of the bullshit that's going on in the world.
yeah. No, it's good
Yep.
to be aware, but to not
What I hear that.
do too
Yeah.
much, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, one, it's just like for me, it's just like I grew up being gaslit a lot in my family and such like that, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
being gaslit by society and politics. And then, you know, it gets to that point where it's just kind of like it comes back down to kind of what we were saying earlier is like focusing on what you have control over and what you don't have control over. And, not to say that the stuff you don't have control over now, you'll never have control over ever, but you can have influence over some of that other stuff,
Yeah.
and then, um, and that's the thing is with a lot of politics, it's like I'm not going to try to say that like I'm going to go change the world or what or through a vote or whatever, but I can care and I can put something in, but it's just like it's like recognizing that like conversations like this are probably way more effective than my actual vote, you know?
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like every single random conversation with a random person is actually more important than my vote. Not to say
Yeah.
you shouldn't vote, but I'm saying actually having real conversations with real people and having real connections is way more important because so much of politics is specifically made to divide us,
Yeah.
especially right now in the culture war shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah,
Ah, the
but
culture war.
yeah,
The
the
good old
Culture
culture
bore, more
war.
like it.
I like cat memes, to be honest. I like them. I
you
think
like
they're
what?
funny.
You like
The
what?
cat memes. The cat
Yep.
memes?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
well,
have a
cat memes have
theory.
always been great, but now there's just a whole nother reason that like all cat
There's a
memes are
whole
now great
nother
now.
level.
Dude, I love
I
barbecue. I
have
don't
a
know.
theory that they know pretty much that there's no like real story or video of it.
There
But it
is.
was to get people to pay attention
Not
to the
not
city, which got 20,000 people added to it when it's a 57,000 people town. People that are paying attention to that, just rando people, they're not
It's
like,
very
oh,
easy for me to
20,000 people
believe.
added to my
I
town.
mean,
That's great. They're like, holy shit, that's a lot of people. That's a large percentage
that's a
Yes.
suddenly
lot of
added to your
people.
town.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
especially
so I
because
think it
that's a
brought attention to
so
that,
small
which I
town.
think is good.
Oh yeah.
it's
Well-
very easy for me to believe. It's like, have you ever met anyone from Ohio? Like in general, those are some fucked up people. Like nobody normal comes out of Ohio.
You know,
It's
I'm from
true.
Ohio,
Shots
right?
fired. Shots fired.
That explains so much.
I'm
Oh,
just kidding. I'm not really from Ohio,
yeah,
but
I know.
I had to go over and
Yeah,
say it.
no, that was good. That was good.
Even if you were, I would just double down on that.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
that explains so much. No, it didn't.
Well, I said that we need to have hunter seeker drones sent after him in our first episode. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
After me?
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'm
I mean,
I'm
I
learning
guess.
how
I
to
mean,
program right now, so I'll let you know later.
Ooh.
well, I mean, it could just be like you announce it when you're successful, right? Like just the normal way.
I am successful, and I announce it in the way that you announce any attack,
Exactly.
which
Yeah.
is you don't.
Unless you're Iran, and then you're like, we're gonna do it. We swear. At some
Yeah.
point, we're gonna do it. We
Yeah.
swear it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know?
And then October 7th happens. Oh.
Oh, well, that's what I do with my
Oh.
cat. My cat always knows I'm ready to attack at any time.
Yeah. Yeah. And barbecue it.
Well, I didn't
I
say
swear to
that.
God.
I'm just,
No.
I mean, it's always ready to attack me, so I'm always ready to attack it. You know,
Yeah.
that's just like the jungle we live in.
Yes. Yes. That's hey.
Claws.
That's a.
Are you
Claws and
trying
paws.
The best
to say,
offense
Troy,
is a
you're
good
always
defense.
ready to attack the pussy?
Oh yeah, I'm always ready. I will go
attack the
down on
pussy?
that pussy. I will make sure that it
Wait,
cannot retaliate. When
Yeah.
I am done, it will be purring.
He's like Alf.
really? It will
Like-
be purring. Purring.
Whether it
All day
wants to or not.
dramatic. Pause.
Oh, pause. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, that was
Good- hey.
beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, good segue, Troy. How's your love life going?
We're talking about that on air? How's
Yes.
your love
Oh.
life going? She's right there. Why don't you ask her?
It's great. Thank you.
It's great. Thank you.
In fact, he might actually get head later.
Hey, what do you
Oh.
mean might? What's this might? Sorry, no. Oh, Troy. Oh.
Did
No,
he
I'm
just
actually
leave?
being serious. No, I'm being serious, Troy.
Oh.
We don't have to talk about your love life. That
Oh,
was just
nothing's
a
going
good
on.
s-
Nothing's
Okay.
going on. So
Okay.
just been working hard trying to get back out and do more social things, but
I want to know what love
right
is.
lady is out there somewhere. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
whether she knows
I
it or
completely
not.
agree.
Yeah.
Have you thought
What's-
about looking at farmers? like
Ooh.
farmer related, like more likely to be a little bit conservative, more traditional.
Thank you.
I don't know.
You
I've
might,
seen those farmers' porn sites. They don't really seem conservative or traditional,
What farmers
like,
on
at
porn
all.
sites?
Well,
The farmer type of porn sites, they are
they
interesting.
traditionally milk
Very interesting.
their children well, though. So this is what's important about farmers' daughters.
Are we still recording this? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, why are we talking about milking children?
We want
what is
you.
happening?
We want you to find a farmer. Find a farmer today.
Farmers only.
Yes.
I'm
But-
just having like an out of
Farmers
body
only.
experience, and I'm just like, okay. You know, I was joking earlier when I made that comment in the group chat, right? You know,
Well, yeah.
You don't want to find yourself a farmer in Plower Field? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
In my
This
defense,
seems-
I'm not in that group chat, so I'm just going on,
Those
intuition.
I started it. I started it. Oh, Troy, buddy, come back.
I just-
Come
I'm
back.
I
sorry.
just don't have anything to fucking say.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. That was not my intention at all. I was just yeah. And, hey, to bring it back to astrology, I just you have your seventh house moon, so it's important relationships and
My
This segment
seventh
is brought
house
to you
moon, bro.
by Space
Dude,
Dust.
don't
yeah.
I know
Space
about it? I
dust.
know so
Space
much
dust.
about it that you should tell me more about it because I have no idea what the fuck you mean.
oh, well,
What is
you
it?
just
Why? What's the seventh house, and why does my moon in my seventh house have to do with Jupiter being in Marn and peace
When-
lighting with the
When the
planets?
moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then I think love will fill the planet and something will steer the stars. I don't know. I just know it's the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
oh segue.
Nice.
Good
Yeah, all you
segue,
did was
Mike.
repeat my joke. So
Oh, well, he
Yeah,
expanded
but I
upon
did
it.
it better though.
Yeah. Speaking of the age of Aquarius, let's talk about
Yeah, let's talk about Aquarius.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the ages, the great ages.
Yeah, there we go. Segue. Yeah, Troy, we're gonna teach you astrology now.
Generally,
well, I
the
know
age
about the
of
grand
Leo and the age of
precession
Aquarius.
the equinox
Hmm?
and the whole like,
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Actually, the grand precession of the equinox.
Yeah.
yeah, because I know that that's the difference between because there's galactic center astrology, which is a lot of mostly Eastern astrology, and then you have a lot of Western astrology, which ends up being based upon the precession of the equinox.
No. More Eastern uses the precession of the equinox because it uses sidereal, which is based on the idea of where the actual, stars and stuff are, versus Western, which is tropical, which starts the zodiac over at Aries every, spring equinox. Sorry
At
to
the
correct
Aries
you,
point
but
every 26,000 years.
yeah, but you're not okay, Troy. You the information
No,
is good.
I'm being
We just
dyslexic
need-
again.
Yeah,
There you
exactly,
go.
exactly.
Hooray!
But
sweet.
no. So each astrological age, everyone talks about that shit as being, it's a thing. Age of Aquarius, age of Pisces happened, age of Aries happened before that, age of Taurus happened before that.
Taurus.
The best sign over here.
Yeah.
But
The look on
Your age
Troy's
was
face.
kind of
He's like,
garbage,
fuck
though, if
you.
you're going to be honest about it.
yeah, he called your age garbage.
He called me what?
I
No, he
mean,
called your
this
age
is a
garbage.
lot of
age
people-
Taurus.
Age garbage. Nice. I've been called worse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I wasn't calling you anything. I was saying that your
No.
age
The age of Taurus. Yeah,
was giving garbage.
yeah.
That's fair.
It was
That's
a wild time, but no, the reason why we have the tropical zodiac is because in my understanding is it basically when we were in the age of Aries, that's when Aries rose in the fucking what is it, the eastern horizon at the start of the fucking spring equinox. It was in the eastern sky. So that was when like what we consider like what the astrology that we have now from like Greek times and stuff, and it's just kind of carried forward now. Like other astrology takes into account the fact that there's the precession of the equinox, and so obviously, you know, it's shifted since then. So like Aries doesn't rise. I mean, if you look in the sky on the spring equinox in the horizon, on the eastern horizon, it's now, or I guess it's still Pisces, but it's going to be Aquarius soon. And that's how you determine the age. Basically, though, like if you look at history, like the ages kind of define like these like quote unquote 2000-year eras of time, and like each era, like this gets into like spiritual stuff because like this is when you get into like there's different religious texts that talk about these different ages, and like we talk about like age of Pisces being the time of Christianity's dominance, and like Christ was quote unquote born at the beginning of the age of Pisces. And then now we're moving.
Picture of men.
Yeah. And like it was an age of like a lot of Piscean themes of like people have like learning to surrender, and a lot of control over people, and like control over people's religious ideas and spiritual ideas. And now we're quote unquote moving into the age of Aquarius, which is like more about like, oh, like the brotherhood of all people, we're all equal, blah blah blah. It's like we have these ideas, and those are great. I mean, ideally they're great, but like the other side of that is like control. Again, it's always about like you can look at like the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, they control through these different ages. So like now the control is going to happen through Aquarian themes versus Piscean themes for the past 2000 years, Aries themes, 2000 years before that, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, this gets into like a bigger conversation, but like, the other idea that Mike brought up earlier, I don't mean to speak for you, Mike, but like that there are like cataclysms that happen, like every religious text and historical text and like mythological text has a flood myth in it, and there was the idea that there was like a big cataclysm that happened many ages ago, and that we're like some people think we're due for one now, or we're due for one in another like 12,000 years. We'll see, but yeah. But anyways, Troy, you look like you're not interested at all.
The Bug Soul Brother, check it out now. The Bug Soul Brother.
I guess I've heard a lot of this kind of stuff before.
What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. To me, it's like it's the least control I have of any of the astrological stuff because it has the least amount of change in my lifetime. So it's more just kind of being like cars and guns exist. Yes, they do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they're like things that are just things that are going to be true almost my entire lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the changing to an age of Aquarius is what, technically another 100 years?
Depends on who you ask. Yeah.
People, yeah, it really depends on who you ask right now.
Well,
I don't know
guess
if there's
I'm
like
asking both of you.
Technically,
well, there's lots of different theories about it.
Technically,
it's anywhere
yes.
from like a few years in the future to like 300 years in the future.
Yeah,
depending on different calculations.
If we're going off the precession of the equinox, then yeah, it's a few hundred years out, because I think right now it's we're like, I think it's 23 or 24 degrees off of, so like that's why like you have people who will talk about the tropical chart and the sidereal chart. I think it's a 23 or 24 degree difference between like, so if you were born at like 0 degrees Aries, then the other would be like your sun would be what, like 7 degrees Pisces, 6 degrees Pisces. So like, yeah, like we have like 6 or 7 degrees to go before it moves technically, and that's, what is it? That's a few hundred years technically, but I don't know. Like, I guess you're right, because I guess that wouldn't happen in our lifetime, so it doesn't really matter. But it doesn't hurt to look at the larger cycles of things. You can look at the larger cycles of things and then kind of bring down to the smaller cycles of things. And like you can get, I mean, it just gives you insight into Like, if you want insight into each of the archetypes, look at historically what was happening during each age. So, like, age of Taurus, what was happening? Age of Aries, what was happening? You can get a really broad general insight into the archetype of that sign based on that age and what was happening. So that's where the benefit would be.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool. That's cool.
Cool.
It's
Whatever,
okay.
guys.
It's
I mean, I just and
okay, I guess.
Oh,
I think,
sorry. Am I supposed to be like, astrology's not real, and you can't convince me that it is?
Yeah, that's what I
don't
want.
know.
That's what I want to
Is
hear.
that more drama for the podcast?
Dun.
I think that the interesting suggestion that the Aquarian age is going to be a narrow gate that humanity has to pass through makes sense to me. That there will be something that we have to move through over the course of this time, whether it's like climate related or it's a natural disaster related, like an outside force coming and hitting us.
Aliens.
I think a lot of the mythology suggests that aliens actually connects with the Aquarius archetype. But the Leo one, mythologically, supposedly,
They're out of this world.
no, I don't know much about the alien part. But supposedly during the Leo one, we had a much more advanced culture, and we actually fell from that advanced culture over the course of that. And we used, from what I've heard, and obviously can't prove any of this, but we used crystals somehow for power in a way that we don't know how to use them anymore.
Yep. I believe
But that's what I've heard about that age.
Atlantis
about the shift.
Atlantis is tied to that. Yeah.
Well, they basically say that there's a lot of like energy fields going through the earth, and one of them is the etheric energy field, and you can essentially tap into that and use it to move electrons, which is electricity. So apparently you could just tap in through the earth energy field and essentially, yeah. And so that was apparently what a lot of people are saying Tesla was actually trying to figure out is the etheric energy fields and trying to get that stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. No. It's if anyone there's a really wild book. I would take it with a grain of salt, but I don't know if you guys know it. It's called Barbara Handclough. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah,
that name.
heard of her.
Oh, you do. Yeah, her book is called Catastrophobia, one of them at least. But I mean, it's very much Aquarius kind of shit where you're like, oh, that's some wild shit. But she really breaks this stuff down where she gets into this whole idea of like that. I mean, she gets into the idea that like human beings have like this catastrophe mindset ingrained in us from whenever it happened, and she thinks it would happen during the age of Leo, or like after the age of Leo. So transitioning into the age of Cancer, there was like this catastrophe that happened, which again ties into like the flood myths of different religions.
Yeah.
But it basically destroyed said civilization that Mike is talking about, or like civilizations. And then it gets into like the Atlantis stuff where like, what is Atlantis? Like, even if Atlantis is a myth to emphasize that whole time. But it's interesting if people actually are interested in this kind of stuff, look up her and her books. Cause again, take them with a grain of salt, but at least she breaks it down really well. So at least for, if that information is interesting to you, that's a good way to go, or a good start. But yeah, and it basically like we basically had to then rebuild. We've gone up again and had to rebuild like ever since then, and then we're gonna head into another like another thing that's gonna happen that causes us to kind of this society that we have where we have it like so fucking good. We've got technology, we have all these things, and like we're gonna have another down again and then have to like rebuild again. But I don't know. I mean, I don't take it fully seriously, but it's an interesting idea.
One mind culture
I'm
had
towards
similar ups and downs, just like you're speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm pretty much at the end of my energy level for tonight, unfortunately. But
yeah.
Like the
Oh, yeah.
Mayan culture.
What?
Like the Mayan culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tired and want to go to sleep like the Mayan
He's gonna lay
culture.
down his large building,
Same.
and then he's gonna get grown over by the jungle.
Yes, that's all gonna happen to me.
And
It was a
slaughtered by
pleasure,
the Spaniards.
bros. Enjoy
Peace,
the
bro.
rest of your night.
Thanks
You
for
too.
being
Nice
gentle
to
with
hear
me.
you, Amber.
Hi, Schultz.
And see you briefly.
Hi.
Bye, all.
Bye, everybody else.
Bye.
Peace.